Have you ever sat in silence, staring at the ceiling, replaying every word, every look, every choice that led to the moment they walked away? That person who made your heart beat differently, who you thought was the one. And now they're gone, and all you're left with is a gnawing ache that maybe, just maybe, you'll never find something like that again. If you're feeling that, you're not alone. And this, right here, right now, might be the most important conversation you've had in a long time. Because what you're about to hear isn't just about getting someone back. It's about getting yourself back. Let's talk about it. When someone you love leaves, it's not just the absence of their presence that hurts. It's the loss of all the little things you tied to your identity. The morning messages, the small reassurances, the comfort of knowing that someone was thinking about you even when you weren't in the room. Suddenly, you're left trying to make sense of the silence, and your brain scrambles to assign meaning to it. You start to wonder if you were enough, if you should have fought harder, if you missed something obvious. But here's the thing. What you're experiencing isn't just sadness. It's chemical. It's biological. Your brain is literally trying to recalibrate from the emotional high of love to the emotional crash of absence. You became attached, emotionally invested, vulnerable. And that's a beautiful thing. It means you were all in. You allowed yourself to feel. But now your body and mind are aching for the reward that used to come with their presence. And when you don't get it, your system panics. It feels like a crisis, because in some ways it is. This isn't weakness. It's human. It's the price of loving courageously. But what often keeps us stuck is the belief that this person was the one, the soulmate, the only person who ever truly got us. And when we crown someone with that title, we make them the center of our emotional universe. We tell ourselves that no one else will ever make us feel like that again. But here's the dangerous truth. The moment we label someone as irreplaceable, we stop seeing reality. We romanticize every moment. We forget the flaws. We amplify the good. We create a myth, and myths are hard to let go of. But love isn't a one-time lottery ticket. It's a capacity. It's a skill. It's a pattern of behaviors and feelings that can exist again, even stronger, even deeper. The connection you felt wasn't magic. It was built. It happened because you showed up. Because you were open, giving, emotionally present. And that version of you? That's not gone. That's still in you, waiting to create something even more extraordinary with someone new, or with yourself. When we say we miss someone, what we often really miss is the life we imagined with them. It's not just about the conversations, the laughter, or the way they looked at us across a room. It's the version of the future we had attached to them. We grieve the plans we made, the shared dreams, the moments that were supposed to happen but never will. That imagined reality becomes its own kind of relationship. You start to mourn not only what was but what could have been. That's what makes it so hard to let go. Because in your mind, you weren't just losing a partner. You were losing birthdays, holidays, lazy Sundays on the couch, shared cups of coffee, the feeling of coming home to someone. You weren't just in love with a person. You were in love with a storyline. And when that story gets ripped away, it creates this emotional vacuum. But that vacuum isn't evidence that you lost something irreplaceable. It's evidence that you had vision. You had hope. You had love to give. And that love, that vision, it didn't disappear. The person left. The story didn't. And maybe now it's time to start writing a new one. One that isn't dependent on someone who chose not to stay. And in the most honest moments, ask yourself, do you want them back, or do you just want the ache to stop? Because there's a difference between missing someone and missing who you were when you were with them. Sometimes what we really crave isn't the person. It's the way they made us feel seen, desired, significant. And the thought of living without that can feel unbearable. But if you're chasing someone just to stop the pain, what you're really doing is outsourcing your healing. You're placing your emotional rescue in someone else's hands. And that's a dangerous place to live. Because even if they came back, you'd still be holding your breath, terrified of losing it again. What you need isn't to bring back what hurt you. What you need is to face the pain, feel it fully, and then let it teach you where the healing begins. Because only when you no longer need them to stop the ache Are you truly ready to decide if they ever deserve to return at all? There's this brutal lie we start to believe when someone walks away, that somehow we weren't enough. That if we were prettier, more exciting, more interesting, more something, they would have stayed. But rejection doesn't mean you're unlovable. It doesn't even mean something was wrong with you. People leave for reasons that are often far more about them than they are about you. Timing, emotional availability, unhealed trauma, fear of intimacy. These are invisible forces that can drive someone to pull away, even when the connection is real. But when they go, what do? We turn on ourselves. We make their decision a reflection of our value. And that's where the real damage happens. Not in the loss of the person, but in the internal conclusion we draw from their absence. You start seeing yourself through their broken lens. But your worth is not up for negotiation. It is not tied to who chooses to stay or who walks away. Their inability to recognize what they had does not diminish what you offered. It's time to stop asking why you weren't enough for them, and start asking why they weren't enough for you. Because here's the truth. Most of us spent more time trying to preserve the relationship than we did preserving ourselves. We make these tiny sacrifices along the way, letting our voice get quieter, our needs get smaller, our dreams get postponed, just to maintain the illusion of closeness. But closeness that costs you your identity isn't intimacy. It's self-abandonment. And when the relationship ends, we don't just grieve the person. We grieve the pieces of ourselves we gave up. That's why the healing begins not with chasing them, but with coming home to yourself. What did you stop doing when you were with them? What parts of your soul went quiet? What did you start believing about yourself that was never true? Rebuilding after heartbreak isn't about finding someone new to fix you. It's about remembering the version of you that never needed fixing to begin with. The woman who laughed freely, who loved bravely, who dreamed boldly. She didn't disappear. She just got buried beneath the effort of trying to be enough for someone who didn't recognize she already was. It's natural to fantasize about them coming back. We all do it. We imagine that one message, that unexpected phone call, that conversation where they finally realize what they lost. But here's what you have to ask yourself. What version of you would they be coming back to? Because if they return to the same dynamic, the same power imbalance, the same pattern where you quiet your needs just to keep them close, then you're not getting them back. You're getting the pain back. If there's ever a future for the two of you, it can't be built from desperation. It has to come from strength, from wholeness, from a version of you that knows exactly what she wants and what she will never accept again. That means doing the inner work now, before any door opens again. Let them see you becoming the version of yourself that no longer needs convincing. The version that doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't compromise her peace just to be chosen. Because when you reach that level of self-worth, you'll attract a very different conversation, whether it's with them or someone entirely new. And here's something most people don't hear enough. Your heart isn't broken beyond repair. It's evolving. It's stretching. It's becoming wiser. The fact that you can feel this deeply, that you allowed yourself to be vulnerable, to truly love, is not weakness. It's power. And heartbreak, as agonizing as it is often the gateway to the most authentic version of yourself. You learn who you are when the person you leaned on is no longer there. You rediscover your voice when no one else is speaking into your choices. And somewhere in that stillness, something shifts. You stop trying to rewrite the past, and you start getting curious about your future. Not just who will love you next, but who you will become in the process. Because real transformation doesn't happen when you're loved effortlessly. It happens when you learn to love yourself fiercely through the hardest moments. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. And every tear, every moment of silence, every time you chose not to text them back, not to chase, not to beg, that was a moment of strength. Even if it didn't feel like it. Especially then. If this touched something deep inside you, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What part resonated with you the most? Are you holding on? Are you healing? Let's talk about it. Like, share, and subscribe if you want more conversations that go beyond the surface. And hey, what do you want to talk about next time? Suggest your topic in the comments. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a community. And you're part of it now.